I think a lot of the beauty of rural China came in its simplicity. There wasn't all the complications of technology and everything that we have surrounding us today with all of our lives going a million miles an hour. And that's true in America, in college, and especially in urban China as well. Beijing was a city that, just like New York, never sleeps, and it was always going 1,000 miles an hour, and there was always something happening. And rural China definitely had an air of simplicity, of kind of another time where people had, their daily work, but then they could relax and get together as a community and have fun and do things like play mahjong. And I really love that aspect of it.
My expectations for rural China were that I was going to have amazing traditional food, and mainly since my grandfathers come from like farm towns and stuff like that, I expected it to be a little bit underdeveloped where we were staying. But it turned out that actually the food was really tasty, but a little bit too oily for my liking, which kind of messed with my stomach a little bit. But it was really tasty, and I think as authentic as it gets. And then surprisingly, this village was really developed and actually had all types of stuff. Like most of the families had like smartphones in their homes, or in my case, they had like a full-on surround sound system and security system with video cameras, which was really impressive to see in a rural village setting.
I expected to kind of come with a whole new perspective of like what rural China is actually like. I think Western culture is very electronics focused and has too much social media and all sorts of stuff like that. And so I was hoping that going to rural China, we'd kind of see a little bit of a break from that. That it would not be as Western and that people would kind of be happier with just very little. And they were, to some extent. But I kind of found that, some of the people in the village had more iPhones than I've owned in my life. And, a lot of them had Facebook and WeChat and all sorts of stuff, and I just wasn't expecting that. But I was expecting it to affect me more and like, wow, these people have nothing, but they're still so happy. When in reality, they have a lot, and they're still really happy. They take a lot less for granted than we do here in America. But it was not what I was expecting.
We were able to kind of form a little bit of a relationship with our host family, which I thought was really cool. That our host mom in particular was always looking out for us. Well, the 5 days we were there, making sure we were getting enough food, making sure we were dressed warm enough. And she knew nothing about us and did not have to do that. She didn't have to take that extra step. But she seemed genuinely, even though we couldn't speak with her, she seemed genuinely interested in sitting with us and teaching us about the way she lives.
The biggest change in my perspective on China was that I kind of thought that the culture in China was more like homogeneous than it is, and that everyone kind of celebrated like the same holidays the same way, like had the same sort of culture in all the different areas. But I learned a lot more about like how there are a lot of different ethnic groups, and they like have different lifestyles and different cultures. So I guess it showed me a lot about how diverse China really is.
Yes, I had this almost sort of subconscious um, inclination that the Chinese people were just very strongly supportive of their government, and that they would hate Americans, whether it be because of the propaganda or things like that. And that was definitely not the case, both in urban and rural China. But especially in rural, uh, they cared for us so much, and uh, whether it's the things they showed us, or feeding us, housing us, or even teaching us things, um, it was a very valuable experience, and it really showed me that at the end of the day, they're humans just like us with their own wishes and desires and their own sources of happiness and sadness. And having that new appreciation and understanding really allowed me to empathize with them. And that empathy is what really made this experience better than I could have imagined. I didn't just get to see what was in rural China, I got to live it and experience it and connect to the people there.